Hello and welcome. It is the 17th of January, the year number 2019, and all bets are within each his own risk reward. I got two NHL plays that I'm playing tonight. And if you're interested in fantasy basketball, an interesting game tonight, to say the least, that I really do like myself. We'll get to that after we're done hockey. New Jersey's playing the Islanders. Islanders are a good team, and they're decently favored. New Jersey, Blackwood is playing well. I'm not touching that game. Rangers are a little bit too big of a favorites for my liking, and they should be. I wanted to I was hoping they'd be a little smaller and I could back them. So an opinion play only on the New York Hockey Rangers. Boston are definitely an opinion play for them on the -1.5. I like to take the home teams to win by multiple goals. And the price tag is almost 2-1 odds. So it's very, very tempting, to say the least. It's not the best play on the board. There's another 1.5 that I'm playing that I like better. And enter it right now. Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I got +175, and I'm going to be laying a goal and a half on Tampa Bay. Ever since Tampa Bay's winning streak has come to an end, they're like 4-2. Toronto has lost like 5 of their last 7 or 8. They're not playing that great. They're coming on their dreadful one night off. Generally speaking, if they got a night off, you want to fade the Maple Leafs, which is the case. And if not, you want to go against them, meaning they got 2 or more nights off, or they're playing a back-to-back on the second half. Tampa Bay is just too good at this stage. Toronto struggling. Their defense, I'll say, led by Jake Gardiner and Zaitsev, and I mean led, has been very poor. They've been leading the poor play defensively. Mitch Marner's playing below, not as playing as well, but Austin Matthews is not scoring right now. And right now, of course, the best player in the National Hockey League is Kucherov, and he is scoring for Tampa Bay. I like the Tampa Bay Lightning, laying a goal and a half, and I'm getting +175. Winnipeg Jets are in Nashville to take on the Nashville Predators. And I got an opinion play on the Winnipeg Jets, but that's about as far as it goes. Anaheim Ducks playing on the Minnesota Wild. I got an opinion play for this game to go to overtime, but I'm not playing that. And the final game I am playing is the Los Angeles Kings going into Dallas to take on the Dallas Stars. Dallas cannot get the puck in the net. I think they scored 6 goals in the last 5. They're just not scoring. Los Angeles is very good on the overtime period. I think they're like 5-1 on the road in overtime. And within that, I'm getting a +160 money line for them just to win the game outright in any form, which is what I'm doing. I'm playing the Los Angeles Kings on the money line at +160. Okay, NBA. This is Roto World. Big news for Toronto. It's really extended news more than anything. OG Anunoby is out due to personal reasons for tonight's game against the Phoenix Suns. But the bigger news is, for the first time this season, Kyle Lowry and Kawhi Leonard will not play, both for rest reasons coming in. And you know what? I should have known. I should have known. Now, I didn't check after the game was over for the Lions, because when I was researching today's basketball games last night, it was as the Raptor game was being played against the Boston Celtics, or near the end of that game. And as I was saying, well, Leonard's not going to play today, or for tomorrow, as I was saying back then. Now, Kyle Lowry, I guess I could say I'm not surprised. Now, the Phoenix Suns are a terrible team. The spread has already moved down from, I think it was 11 or 12 points, down to 8. And therefore, this is going to be a fantasy gem match. Phoenix comes into this game with a record of 11 wins and 34 losses, 4-17 away from home court. The Toronto Raptors with, we'll say, the best record for now in the NBA, but huge underdogs compared to Golden State to win it all. 18-4 at home. As far as the Raptors are concerned, they're thinking probably two of two things. Number one, they probably don't need Kyle Lowry and Kawhi Leonard tonight. And furthermore, they if they lose this game, which they're probably not going to, they're going to be fine. And they're doing a lot of what San Antonio is doing in Toronto, and giving Lowry rest, giving Kawhi Leonard rest. Kawhi Leonard has now missed, like, this is going to be his 12th game off this year. Okay, so statistically, what do we see in this spot? Phoenix, again, they're just a really bad team. I'm not taking them. But if we look at some of their games, they lose to Indiana 131-97. They beat Denver 102-93 at home as an 8.5-point dog. They go to Dallas, they lose by 10 on the road. Sacramento, they win 115-111. Charlotte 119-113 loss. So they're losing all of these games lately at home. They lost to Philadelphia, Golden State, Denver, OKC. Some decent opponents, obviously, in that mix on who they were playing. When we look at some of their other road games, they lost to Orlando 122-120 in overtime. They lost to Brooklyn 111-103. Brooklyn's looking better. I don't know if this is a high scoring game, 149-146. Even in overtime, that's high scoring. Boston, they won against Boston 111-103. Wow, magnificent. And New York 128-110. San Antonio 86-111. So there's nothing I can really do as far as the side is concerned. I probably have an opinion on taking 8 points with the Phoenix Suns. Now, as far as the Toronto roster is going to be concerned, I don't know if I can get players on here or not. As we can see, Kawhi Leonard is. CJ Miles, if he comes back, he hasn't been around for a while. And Jonas Valanciunas, he's probably my favorite player on the team outside of maybe Kawhi Leonard. He is really, really awesome. But he's been out, and I think they have to limit his play due to injury. But as far as tonight's concerned, at point guard for the Raptors, we got DeLon Wright, and we have that of what's his name again? Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet doesn't seem to be that great and hasn't done amazing in taking advantage of opportunities to play, which he's going to have tonight. He's got a couple of decent outputs, and he's relatively expensive on DraftKings prices at over $5,000. I'm not playing him. DeLon Wright, he's an opinion play. I'm not playing him. But there are 3 guys on Toronto that I think are set for monster performances against their price point tonight. Starting off with the cheaper ones. Norman Powell is going to get significant time. And I think he's going to be able to rack up, in fantasy football terms, around 30 or more fantasy points. His price point is near the lowest, over 3,000. Same is true for forward or big guy Greg Monroe. I think he's going to go off tonight for over 30 fantasy points on DraftKings, and he, again, costs barely over 3,000. And Siakam for the Toronto Raptors is going to cost a little bit. I think it's around 7,000 to purchase. But because of the big scorers, the big players in Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry out for tonight, he's going to be the one that's going to get the bulk of the fantasy points for the Raptors. I'm going to expect well into the 40s for him, even possibly to the 50-point fantasy number. Long story short, those are the 3 guys I am playing in every single lineup that I play. There's 4 guys in total that I'm playing in every lineup. And I just did a search for Jabari Parker. That's the guy. And I'm just reading this for the first time on NBC Sports that the experiment could be coming to an end. So I'm going to click on that to see what they're having to say. But before I do that, he just came back from injury. And within that game, let's just go to the game log. So there's all the inactives and did not plays. Had this whatever game for 14 minutes. But he came back in the first game, got 11 points. He got himself 2 dimes and 4 boards. And in the last game, he scored 18 points with 3 dimes, or excuse me, 2 dimes and 3 boards. And he's doing so in about 17 minutes and change on average. So he's getting over about 25, 26 fantasy points in about 17 and a half minutes. This is a guy that historically was playing more minutes before, so if anything, I got to think he's 18 to 24, 23 minutes. He's, again, very cheaply owned. So I got to think that he could be in line for some magnificent output. And as far as what NBC Sports has to tell me, it was supposed to be a celebration occasion. I don't want to see more. Okay. A Chicago prep sensation coming home to start a new chapter of his NBA career with the team he cheered for growing up. Parker's family and some close friends were in attendance at a news conference at the arena last summer to formally announce the signing of this to a 2-year yada yada contract, except something didn't feel right. Maybe it was a past experience facing so many questions about his injuries and the pressure of being the number 2 pick in 2014. But Parker seemed uncomfortable with many of the innocent and obvious queries tossed his way by the media. His responses were mostly short and guarded, hardly reflecting what most assumed a day of celebration. Okay, let's just... Parker, where do we see that he's not going to be... This is a long article, but... Okay, still with political minute change. Parker isn't a long-term fan. Sport fans and many of us in the media love the story of the hometown, but the Jabari Parker appears to be coming to an end soon. Well, if they just mean getting rid of him and trading him, so be it. But as far as tonight is concerned, this is a player who hardly cost anything. You need like 24 fantasy points, 25 points just to get your normal value that you're looking for. I think he can go off into the 30s at least for tonight's matchup that he has. So thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.